Hi, it's Dr. Ron Kaiser here, and let's talk a little bit about disruptors today. You know, a lot of the major changes in the world have taken place because people have been willing to disrupt the old order of the way that things are done. Steve Jobs was a disruptor, Bill Gates, the people who introduced cryptocurrencies and so on. Some things have worked better than others, but many of the major changes have taken place because of disruptions by people who are visionary enough to be willing to disrupt the old order. And for those of us who are in life's second half century, I think it's time for us to be thinking about ourselves as disruptors. For those who will be entering it in the future, then I think it's not too early to start thinking in terms of disrupting the aging process. The when many of us, particularly those of us who are over 50, and I'm quite a bit over it, when we were growing up, because of the shortened lifespan at that time, many of us didn't know uh, our grandparents. They had already been deceased, or in my case, I had one grandmother left. Some people were a little luckier, a little less fortunate in that regard, but generally the picture of a grandparent was that of someone who was fairly sedentary, oftentimes fairly sick, um, but certainly not a highly energized, high activity person. That's no longer the case for many people. And that's why a few years ago I wrote the book Rejuvenaging: The Art and Science of Growing Older with Enthusiasm, which you see over my left shoulder. Um, I pointed out that there are 7 keys to rejuvenating, starting with the mindset and then going through healthy eating, uh, going through keeping the brain active, keeping the body active through exercise, sleep, meditation, and so on, staying socially connected, um, doing good for other people, uh, and appreciating the good that permeates our lives. Uh, Over time, I've tried to focus on the fact that there are non negotiable 4 areas where we always want to be changing: healthy eating, owning the body, staying socially connected, uh, and keeping the brain active. And so I think that it becomes, very important to make that as kind of a mission, to make sure that we have goals that we're really disrupting the notion of aging and making it more of a continuum, where we're on a continuum of doing some of the same things we've been doing since childhood, modified in some ways, but keeping all of the parts working and all of the parts active and trying to forestall uh, physical and mental decline. So I hope that no matter what age you are, that you will join me in being a disruptor. I've kind of developed a new tagline when working with older adults, which is drawing on my background in positive psychology and saying that my focus is on positively disrupting the way that we age. What do you think about it? Do you think that's a good way of looking at it? Do you think that's a great tagline, as I do? Uh, what ideas do you have for reinforcing it and building it from a very young age so that people look forward to being disruptive in their older years and being active in their older years in much the same way as people look forward to the next uh, invention that comes out of Apple or Microsoft, the way that Steve Jobs disrupted the way we think about phones, the way we think about computers, uh, the new investment vehicles that people look at, and so on. Let's make it a mission to disrupt, to positively disrupt the way that we age. You're with me on this? Uh, Please comment if you are, and even if it's just to like this. I'd like to think that I'm reaching, a nerve in this regard, but I'd like to know if I'm not too. So I hope that this isn't a video that you'll respond to passively, that you'll comment upon it, or at the very least like it, and think of ways and suggest ways that we can positively disrupt the way that we age, and ways in which we can implement that beginning at an early age. Glad to have shared some of these thoughts with you. I hope that you'd be glad to receive them, and looking forward to communicating with you again. It's Dr. Ron Kaiser from the Mental Health Gym and the Rejuvenaging Revolution, and now talking about positively disrupting the way that we age.